Time isn't a line. It's a map. Pick a date. The past is never truly gone. Come, see for yourself. Don't blink. This is where it began.
I wonder what journey our daily time machine has in store for us.
This is the story of one of the most infamous assassinations in all of human history. We're talking about a single day that brought an entire republic to its knees, and believe it or not, set the stage for an empire.
But you know, this isn't just some dry political story. No, this is a story about raw ambition, about deep-seated fear, and about a betrayal so personal it would echo through the ages. The day? March 15th, 44 BC, a date we now know as the Ides of March.
Okay, so to really get why this all went down, we first have to understand the man at the center of this storm and the republic that he completely towered over.
See, Julius Caesar wasn't your average politician, not even close. This guy was a military genius, a hero to the common people, the man who conquered Gaul and basically redrew the map of the Roman world. So to the people, he was an absolute legend. But to the Senate, he was starting to look like something else entirely.
And look, Caesar had more power than pretty much any Roman in history. He'd been declared dictator perpetuo. That means dictator for life. Now, in a republic that was built on the whole idea of shared power, of having elected officials, yeah, that title alone was a massive red flag.
So what was really driving all this fear? Was it just simple jealousy? Some personal rivalries? Nope. It was something way deeper, something that struck right at the very heart of what it meant to be a Roman.
It really all boiled down to one single thing: kings. The Roman Republic was founded on getting rid of kings. For 500 years, the very word rex, king, was the ultimate political sin. It was a constant reminder of the tyranny they'd fought so hard to escape. So when they looked at Caesar, with all his ambition, his popularity, this whole dictator for life thing, they saw a king in the making, and that meant he was a threat to everything they stood for.
So this fear, it didn't just stay as whispers in the hallways of the Senate. Oh no, it started to solidify. It became a plan, a deadly conspiracy that pulled in some of the most powerful men in all of Rome.
And get this, we're talking about up to 60 senators who became part of this plot. They even had a name for themselves, the Liberators. In their own minds, they weren't assassins, they were patriots, you see, just performing a necessary and very bloody act of civic duty.
But what's absolutely wild about this whole thing is how personal it got. This wasn't just a group of his political enemies. The conspiracy included guys Caesar completely trusted, men he had pardoned in the past, even people he called his friends. And the most famous one, of course, was Marcus Junius Brutus, a man Caesar had treated practically like his own son.
All right, let's jump to the day itself, the Ides of March. This is where it all comes to its tragic climax. And let me tell you, the air in Rome was thick with tension and, if you believe the stories, some seriously bad omens. I mean, the warning signs were everywhere. His own wife, Calpurnia, apparently had these horrible nightmares about his murder and begged him not to go to the Senate. Then there was that famous soothsayer who warned him to beware the Ides of March. The story goes that on his way to the Senate that day, Caesar actually saw the soothsayer and kind of joked, "Well, the Ides of March are here." And the guy just replied, "Aye, Caesar, but they're not over yet."
So, ignoring every single one of these signs, Caesar just carries on. He heads to the meeting, which, by the way, wasn't even in the usual Senate house. It was in a room next to the theater of Pompey. He walks in, the senators all stand up to greet him, and the trap was officially set.
And it all happened in a flash. First, there's a distraction. One of the senators comes up with a petition, grabs Caesar's toga. That was the signal. Then, the first blow. A conspirator named Casca strikes him from behind. The attack was just immediate and brutal. Caesar tried to fight back, but he was completely surrounded. It was a storm of daggers coming at him from every direction.
He was fighting for his life until he saw him. A familiar face in the crowd of attackers. Brutus. The stories say that when he saw his trusted friend, dagger raised, he just stopped. He stopped struggling, pulled his toga over his face, and just accepted it. You have to imagine that psychological blow was way more devastating than any of the stabs.
And here's the final bitter twist of irony. Caesar collapsed and died right at the foot of a statue of his greatest rival, Pompey the Great, the very man he had defeated in a civil war years earlier. The final count was 23 stab wounds.
So, the assassins had done it. Caesar was dead. But here's the big question. In killing the man, did they actually save the Republic? The answer to that was a catastrophic, resounding no.
I mean, just look at this. The difference between what they wanted to do and what actually happened is just staggering. Their goal? Save the Republic. The result? They unleashed a massive civil war. Their goal? Restore the Senate's power. The result? They completely destroyed the Republic. And the biggest one, prevent a king? Well, they actually paved the way for an emperor.
Rome just exploded into chaos. The people, who really did love Caesar, were absolutely horrified. The wars that followed were brutal. The liberators were all hunted down and killed one by one. And when the dust finally settled, only one man was left standing: Caesar's adopted son, Octavian. He would soon take a new name, Augustus, and become the very first Roman emperor. And that right there is the ultimate irony, the real legacy of the Ides of March. The one act that was supposed to save the 500-year-old Roman Republic was the very thing that guaranteed its total destruction. Out of those ashes, an empire was born.
So that leaves us with this massive question, doesn't it? Were Brutus and the conspirators heroes who failed, patriots trying to stop a tyrant? Or were they just a bunch of short-sighted aristocrats whose actions completely doomed the very world they claimed they were trying to save? It's a debate that's been raging for 2,000 years, and it's a warning that's been etched into history forever.